Today's lesson is going to be on using percentages, more importantly, to be able to use effectively multipliers to solve percentage problems. So a multiplier is just a percentage that has been turned into a decimal, and it's most associated with percentage increase and decrease. And the reason it's so useful is because it can do in one step what would otherwise take 2 or 3 steps. And it's also useful in later examples of work, which we'll have to do. So, how do you turn a percentage into a decimal? The easy answer is you divide by 100. Okay, and I should also note that this topic is a calculator topic. If you do not have a calculator, then you are unlikely to use multipliers. You would just work things out with 50%, 10%, 1%, and little by little by little. But this can do it all in one step. So the original amount is 100%, it's always 100%. And we want to increase by 12%. So let's first of all think, if I increase that by 12%, what percentage do I have? Hopefully you all know that's 112%. Percentages can be more than 100. 100% is the whole original amount, but if you think about things doubling or increasing, they can be bigger than the original amount. And then we've got to turn that into a decimal. So we've got to divide it by 100. If you divide 112% by 100, you get 1.12. The percentage sign is now gone because it's no longer a percentage, it is a decimal. It's a decimal equivalent of that. So let's have a look at another one. We want to increase by 7.5%. So same process, we're going to take the 100%, the original amount, add on 7.5, and you're going to get 107.5%. Then we're going to turn that into a decimal. Turn it into a decimal, divide by 100. That decimal point is going to move down a couple of places. We're going to get 1.075. No more percent sign because it's not a percentage anymore, it's a decimal. Let's have a look at a decrease. So if we want to decrease by 16%, so decrease means go down. We're starting at 100%. Decrease means subtract 16%. If you take 16 off 100, you're going to go down to 84%. And then we have to turn that 84% into a decimal. So 84% as a decimal, divide by 100, we're going to get 0.84. No more percentage sign because it's no longer a percentage, it's a decimal equivalent of 84%. Let's look at one more. If we want to decrease by 93.5%, it's a big decrease, we're going to be taking that 93.5 off 100. If you take it off 100, you are left with 6.5%. Now we want to turn that 6.5% into a decimal. We're going to be dividing by 100. Got to be careful here because it would be very easy to get something like 0.65, but it's actually 0.065. Divide by 100. If you've got a calculator, use it. Okay. Now, all these 4 numbers at the end, they are called multipliers. They are used to work things out in one step when you've got a calculator that would otherwise take a new number of steps. Imagine working out an increase of 12% otherwise. You'd work out 10%, step 1. You'd work out 1%, step 2. Double that to get 2%, step 3. Add them together to get 12%, and then add it onto the original amount to get 112%. That's about 4 or 5 steps there, which we can do in one step if we know this multiplier. So let's have a look at a couple of examples of how these multipliers are used. So you might get a question that asks you to increase £50 by 12%. This is just information we have from the previous screen. So an increase of 12% by 12% means we're going to need a multiplier of 1.12. And as the name suggests, you're just going to multiply that number by 50. 50 times the multiplier, and that gives you your answer, all in one step. Let's look at one more. It's just that easy. So we want to decrease £70 by 93.5%. So, as we looked at before, a decrease of 93.5% has a multiplier of 0.065. multiply the 0.065 by £70, and you are going to end up with £4.55. And it's really that simple. Okay, so work out your multiplier first, write it down, be careful when it's a decrease, and then it's nice and easy. It's just a multiplication, and you're going to get the answer. Okay, and that's all for today. Hopefully that helps with your My Maths.